morning, everybody. We are live. My music cue isn't straight, so I don't have a good soundtrack for you real quick. But we are here at Hayward CPA live with another riveting episode of Hayward CPA Live. Today's subject is the role of value in your small business. My man K Franklin will be in a minute to go through this conversation with you. But it's all good, you know. First things first, a little bit of housekeeping. Remember, we're here every other Saturday at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so that's first things first. All right, every other Saturday. Second, um, you know, I got my man K in there. Got to put him in the building in a second. Um, you know, we're here, but don't forget throughout the week, we want your questions. This is all about dialogue. We're here to talk about small business, all things small business. Of course, we start in the accounting space, but we, of course, when you deal with accounting, you deal with all aspects of business. So we get into, a bunch of things. Good morning, Buffalo Lake Medical in the building, always right there. Want to stay anonymous is cool. So let's give us a few minutes. Let's get Brother Corey up in here in a minute. And we're going to get this going. But today we're going to talk about value. We are definitely going to talk about value and what it means for your business. I think it's used a lot. The term is used a whole lot. Value this. In our business, we do value billing and value pricing and all this other stuff. So what we're trying to do today is to break down what value is and go from there and get some things going. So, all right, I'm gonna get this started. See where my man is. He should be here in a minute. But I got the slides on deck. You know how we do. And we're just gonna start real quick with what is value. I don't know if you can see, I'm still my teaching game. I'm still on my teaching game. I'm trying to learn my teaching game. Are we trying to determine what value is? And we're going to discuss that. So I did a little research to get ready for this episode. I went to the Merriam-Webster dictionary to try to figure out what is value. What is value? That's the question, right? So what is it? So we use it, and then we try to we throw it around. So I said, you know what? We're gonna go find out what it is, all right? So, and what I found out was, and this was a little bit of an English lesson, that value actually takes shapes in three different word forms: a noun, verb, and an adjective. So it's very interesting, but I think we're going to go over some of that. And with that being said, speaking of value, I'm going to bring in, our correspondent from wherever he is, Mr. Corey Franklin in the building. And is one of these from your remote area. I don't think we hear you right now, but feel free to speak. Oh, here we go. I got you. You good?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You probably on the headphone set. I'm about to throw my headphones in to check you out. But
yeah, there we go.
give us a few minutes, man. Tell the people what's up, and I'm let me get my mind right here, and y'all might hear some feedback real quick. But
right.
let me get
Good
this
morning,
going.
everyone. Good Saturday morning. It's a beautiful Saturday. Saturday Chronicles.
Yeah, you. All
Invited to
right.
join you guys
So you
today
back in the
again.
building. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Oh man.
yeah, absolutely. Can
So
you
this
hear
is
me
it's
better?
crazy. It's rough. You know, now one thing I will say is a holiday weekend. So we kind of on something different right now. Like it's just, we laid back. This is gonna be a little bit more of a laid back um situation today. Not too much though. I think part of my problem is I got something else going on here. I'm trying something new in the in terms of the in terms of what I'm doing with my audio game. So just bear with us. But it's all good, man. So what's up, Corey, man?
I'm
What's
all
going
right.
on, man?
I'm all right, man. You said it's Saturday, it's a holiday week. Uh, you know, money and business never sleeps. You know, um, so we must proceed and do what we have to do.
So
You
yeah,
still here?
give me 1 second, man. I'm about to be back in effect, man.
Okay,
I'm trying to,
okay.
as I said, man, holiday weekend, man. I can't even hear you on bananas. We are live, but this is good.
You
But
can't
this
hear me?
proves that this is not pre-recorded. Um, it looks like weekly we got to do a sound check. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Um, oh, you know what? I could do this now. Hello? Anybody
You
out
hello?
there? Yeah.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
You hear me? Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
hear
heard you
you.
clear. All right. See, look at that. That's not. It's the wonder of live television. Okay. So we in the building. Everybody's here. It's good. Okay. All right. So everybody can hear everybody. So now let's get this over. Let's do this again. First thing. Good morning, Mr. Franklin. How you doing? You
Good
good?
morning.
You
I'm
good?
doing well. How about
Yeah.
yourself? I'm excellent.
Man. Well, I'm doing a little better. I tried to do something too cute on the technology side, and because I figured it was a holiday weekend. So, oh wow, hey Katie, how you doing? All right, it's another one of my. Actually, Katie too, because I met Katie at the SageWorks deal, the SageWorks where we
Okay,
politicked.
okay,
She was
okay,
with,
okay.
so she was one of the presenters with your man. Yeah, yeah. So I had three presenters. So that's what I'm saying. So hey, Katie, great. All right. Well, today, as I said, we were talking about value. We're gonna get it. I got the value man on the phone. Saying with you, he got a gold Starbucks cup. That's outstanding. All right, and we gonna see.
It's plastic. I can't cash it in for
Hey,
nothing.
whatever, man. So, and we need to talk about value. Now I'm gonna get started again because it was a little hectic. I say so. We're gonna start. What is value? Everybody talks about value. Value this, value that. Kind of like the bad boy thing. Oh, I hear value this and value that. Everything is value. But as I was saying in the earlier portion, what I learned was that there are actually um, there are various definitions of value. So we have the noun, the verb, and the adjective, which we're going to look at this morning. So the three things. So, and I think it gets confused because you know, just so y'all know, Corey and I have a lot of conversations offline. So all we're doing here is having the conversations we have on the phone on the internet. That's all we doing right here. So that's that. But going into, and we probably you guys might get like a straight up like inside thing because we probably start politicking about something right here, like in the middle when I drop this. Like, check this out. So the three definitions of value that I pulled out, Merriam-Webster, which I mentioned earlier, um, the ones that we're going to use for today. The now, it comes in a fair return on goods or service. The verb is defining the relative importance, worth, or utility, and I want you to really pay attention to that one. And finally, the adjective is inexpensive in relation to more expensive brands. That's that's something, we could talk about. So those are the three points I want to go over in terms of value and get into it. And I'll let you speak first, and then we can chop that up, because I think it's very interesting. Most times it's about, hey, we say value. We say value. What's the value of this? What's the value of that? And it's usually around that economic portion, that first one, the fair trade, what we call fair market. What the value is. But as we discussed last week, I think there's another element that for small businesses they overlook, and it's it was our conversation about the want. So let me get your take. So we got the Webster take on value. Let's get Corey's take on value. How about that? And then I'll give you mine after that.
Hmm. Well, the first thing is the importance of value shouldn't be underestimated,
Mm-hmm.
right? From a tangible and an intangible perspective. I would first probably say foundation the foundation of value comes from the business owner themselves, right? It's a is what the actual core values, the culture of the business means
Mm-hmm.
to that person and to the target market, right? Once you
Mm-hmm.
have that complete understanding in place, core values and how you use your methods, whatever standards you have in place, then we can kind of really expand into those other areas as you're addressing, which comes down to ultimately the experience and the economic contribution to the community or to the world. Depends on,
Mm-hmm.
the type of business, the size of the business, so on and so forth. I always go mental,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I know. It's Saturday morning. Just remember that. So just right. But nah, I get that. So
You don't plan for these things.
I know they just kind of happen. So all right. So what I'm going to do is
Yeah.
keep. So what you're saying is the second bullet point that I had up there, which I don't know how big this is coming across on the in the world, but bear with me. But we're talking about the relative importance, worth, or utility. Um, I guess you use that to determine when we say value internally. That's what we're saying. What does your organization, your business, starting with the owner, value? So it's the thing where it's beyond, you're clearly not doing the business only for money. Because I tell anybody, if you're an entrepreneur and you're doing it for the money, you're a maniac. Like, you're insane. Like this, because I mean, that cannot be your only motivation. It just is no way in the world. It's not going to work. All right. There's a million and one ways in America to just make money.
Mm-hmm.
Starting a small business, a
Mm-hmm.
family owned small business, is not the only way. Okay. So we have value on the inside. So what does the organization value? Let's say, what is the worth to the organization? Why? What is it? Why does it exist? How do we want to work? How do we want to be perceived? How do we, what we about? Just to put it in plain terms, what we about? So that's internally, and then we take that and turn that into the economic value, our goods and service, because very few things
Absolutely.
under the sun, very few things under the, I mean, unless you could say SpaceX, but I mean that's not new, going to space allegedly. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that, but so we're talking about a value, and so now we've already have two definitions of value right in here talking about this. So you see how the English language is so confusing. It runs into a problem when we go into business development. Because we already talked about two definitions. Now we've already said, okay, and now we talk about it internally and externally. So I guess my thing is, going back
Mm-hmm.
to your previous appearance when we talked about sales. It's like, once you establish that internal value, in your opinion, how do you take that and then move it into external to sales? Like, why is that important to start generating business, or getting clients, in your opinion? Mm,
Um, no opinion here. It's just a fact. Um, Business equals money at the end of the day. You're serving people to generate revenue and to continue to grow an economy, right? Again, whether you're local community or it's global.
mm-hmm.
Um, so being able to communicate that value from the business owner into the business, because now the business, remember, the business has no feelings or emotions.
True.
The business, you put the business on the train track, it's gonna go. It doesn't know when to stop. It doesn't recognize red lights. It doesn't recognize people or cars driving over the train tracks. You have to
Mm-hmm.
command that for that to happen. So the business is the same. You drive the business based off of the core values of the culture of the company,
Yeah,
the
of the owner.
meaning of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So and then so that falls into, well, what products or services are you offering? Really, what are the needs? What are the problems that you're solving? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can and can your passion, can your business idea actually make you generate revenue for you, providing services and products that your target customers need? Now, can you actually bring employees, strategic partners along with you in the business, and can you actually sustain off of that revenue that's generated as well? So a lot of big questions when it's not just I have a product or service, let me go sell it. Oh, I made this, that, on a weekly basis, like you said. If you're in it for the money, you're barking up the wrong tree. Has to be a greater purpose. And that
Yeah,
value boils down to that dollar amount.
yeah. So the value, so which is interesting, actually, you actually changed my whole agenda with your first statement, but because I wasn't even thinking about the internal value, but I'm gonna bridge it to where I was thinking. And some of this is just based on actual fact and reality. So when you're developing your product and service, one of the things from a lot of the reading I'm doing and a lot of the things that I'm reading right now, um, we all aim to be client centric, patient centric, customer centric, whoever you're servicing, because at the end of the day, you do business with people. I don't care what business you in, you do business with people. So you have to relate to the people on some level. If you can't relate to them, you hire somebody that can relate to them so that you don't have to talk to them. But that could be a whole nother podcast. So the point
Mm-hmm.
is, if you don't put your value into your product, service, and your operation, you can't do you can't find your optimal customer. So if our values don't match, because people don't realize, you want your values to match with your clients. I mean, you want there to be a match, because the only way that they're going to get to that economic value and say, oh yeah, this is value, is that they have to they it's an intangible. Value is an intangible, but we use it so much for the tangible portion. um like X service, how much is that worth to you? What and the reality is, that's kind of like a gotcha question for a person, because I know in our business, they have no clue what it's worth to them. They don't know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not
Mm-hmm.
something you buy off the shelf. But what we've been talking about and discovering is that it has a value to them. It's just that we haven't reached out and shown him where the value is, not the dollar amount. But I'll take an example. Why do you want to keep your books up to date? So their thing is, oh, basically because I have to do taxes. So I think it's like, from what we've been discussing is, well, no, you need it. We've always found, oh yeah, because you need to run your business. But look, something even more value. When you find that house you want to buy, and they call and say you want 2 years of this and their financials, oh, you're gonna want it then. It's gonna be valuable to you. And so if you're in the right place from a business standpoint, I'm gonna hit you in the head, because now you care. So we telling you, hey, I'm giving you
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to care, and you should. from our value system, you should care about it all the time. But then is understanding the client's value, what they value. You know, like we were talking about tax planning. You know, people say we throw those terms out too. Tax planning. Look, at the end of the day, you want to keep more money in your
Mm-hmm.
pocket. Let's cut through the chase. That's what it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy to attack the taxes, but it's not easy to attack your Starbucks habits. No, no offense to you. I'm just saying, if you
Nah,
go,
oh no, this
I know
homemade.
that's
That's
just
just a
a cup.
rewashable cup, brother.
I know, I
I'm
know,
saving
but
my ducats.
yeah, but is so I think the exploration of value is I mean it's very important. So as a business owner, I mean you have the two tiers. You have the values, and not only that, once you can express your values, and everybody that speaks for your business can. I mean, look, it's their job, and it's not necessarily that they're going to drink the Kool-Aid and go all the way in, but if they can embrace it, because really everybody in your organization is in business development. I mean, the reality is, so you want everybody to be speaking the same lingo, and that starts from
Hmm.
the values of the organization, which then the values become the culture. So you do that now. You can speak to people in the like we doing and at the firm, which incidentally, man, how could I meant to start with this. The technicals went yesterday was 11 years
Hmm.
of Hayward CPA, existence. Been in the game a much longer. Yeah, let's make some noise for that. 11 years,
Congra-
like that.
Congratulations.
Yes, there's what
11
is the
years of value. 11
yeah,
years of
value.
value.
Yeah, it's been some value. 11 years of undervaluing myself. And that's why I stopped, and that's why I'm here. Thank you for you all. But 11. So what was but having people on the same page so that we can understand that and understand those values and then get there. Um, thank you. Oh, we got
You
our people
you
are on
just
here.
you you just said something important. You said
Uh-huh.
11 years of, and it's
You know,
a
I'm
jokey
being
joke, right? But
yeah,
you
I know.
11 years of undervaluing yourself. But that's important because that's a thought that most business owners have, and
Mhm.
they want to know for each year, how do I not undervalue the business through
Yeah,
myself, right?
yeah. Hmm.
I always go below the surface when we
I know.
discussing
Be ready
certain
for
things because we it goes back to that one question that you mentioned earlier. It's what do you want,
it.
right?
Yeah.
And that's a constant question that people try to ask themselves. What do I want, right? So what do you want? Really, what you're looking for is looking for you, and that can be displayed in your business's value. Now, the value of the business equals the target market that you're servicing, right? Hence why people's values they interchange.
Yeah.
Their core values are usually the same, but their needed values, their emergency values, those things they interchange. So depending on your product lines and your service line, those meeting the values for those particular clients or customers at the time that they have a problem that needs to be solved.
Yeah. Well, you catch them when
So I
they
just
fit and
gave you
they
two
fit.
two areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because and so what I mean to build off of that, and also I professional accountant. Check the shirt. You see what it is. And I've been having a running joke. I mean, accountants by nature, we negotiate against ourselves because we're trained to be conservative. That's one of the tenets of accounting, conservatism. So when we working with somebody, and this is hilarious. I've spoken to all my colleagues. Sometimes you sit there and say they can't afford this. You trying to charge them, and you tell yourself they can't afford it. and then they go outside and go get in the Bugatti, and you feel like a dummy. But the point is, I think it goes to that second thing of your worth. If you understand now, and it's kind of like individual self worth. But if you understand in the greater scheme what you're doing for somebody, And you're not necessarily about quantifying it, but you understand. You like, you know, okay, all right, no. I know out here, and you can only do that by doing your research. Hey, I know out here that you're gonna need this. It doesn't matter what firm A, B, or C is charging. You're gonna need this.
Mm-hmm.
We can deliver it because back on our core values, how we get down, at our firm is technology. We leverage in technology. We're gonna be able to do this for you. Um, it's I mean this now you do your work to figure out what it costs for you, but you can sleep with at night and yeah, it is. That's it. And it becomes from knowing your value. And then it comes to knowing the value of your service, product or service, which you're doing your research before you get into that position. So you already know what it is. I think many times in business, especially in service businesses, you start doing your research when you're talking to the prospect. So you're sitting there because we all do this, try to figure out what they paid last time. And I read one of the practice management books I've read. Where it was actually Ed Mendowitz. He's a big accounting guy, so big guy, OG.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, in one of his books, I mean, he put in there, he was like, yeah, I cost more because I'm better than the last guy, and it's not about being better, like head to head. Is the fact that you were unhappy over there, so you came over here. You like what I'm doing. Why should I charge the same thing that person did? So because it gets back to what you said. I mean, the value at your point of time. It's like, okay, what it is. So, and it goes, and just to expand it, I guess I would want to talk a little bit about in other, like in restaurants or retail environments. It's I have experience in that too. um, Owning a record store, things were kind of, but it was different. It was the price, and but I've had a lot of debates about prices over vinyl records now, like that. And at some point you have to. You had supply and demand in that scenario, so you kind of had that. It wasn't as fungible. But when you're doing like professional services or really restaurants or like food stuff like that, I mean, how many times you go there, you say, "Oh, especially you had a meal, no, it wasn't really worth it." Well, I'm saying, yeah, was it? But you didn't have to cook. You didn't have to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, you didn't have to go get your fix your plate. you know what I mean? So those are the things
Sure.
that go there. A lot of times, people go places when they really can't afford it, that's I'll
Well,
touch on.
because they buy what they want and borrow for what they need.
Oh yeah, now you that's your book right there. Yeah, that's America. But just to not leave it out, that the third point of value, being the value option in business. I want to talk about that too. Um, it's core to your business. Um, the largest retailer in the world is the value option. Walmart. Largest is the value option. I mean, so it can work, but it's the largest retailer in the world because there's more people that buy what they want to shop value than on, their alternative would be Target, probably is the closest. Um, but value. But I've done some reading on Sam Walton in the book Built on Bedrock. Great book. I'll probably
Mm-hmm.
put it somewhere in the notes so you go check it out. But it goes back to what you said, the value of the man that built the values of the company. So they decided not to, like, for instance, when he was open in Arkansas, he could have opened like in St. Louis or something. And I think his wife told him, like, don't do it, stick with it. Just so he was in these towns that people, like, wait, are you serious? And now largest retailer in the world. It's like there are no Walmarts in New York City. Like they're in New York area, but I don't think they have any in the city because there's no space, space issues. So there's
Mm-hmm.
things to consider there. But being the value option is not necessarily the way. That's not a bad way to be. but it's based on your core value because it's like who you gonna sell to. I mean, I think I talked myself into a whole nother subject. Well, you talked me into it as usual. Into a whole
Oh
nother.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Blame. Uh-huh. I got you. But you know, it just happens. It's just how we, as we just communicating about some things, right? And you know, I guess it boils down to just talking about the book you just described. You know, we're all creators, right? We're all
Mhm.
individual creators, especially in the
Yeah,
early ages when we were younger, right? You know, we were creative people. Our risk level was super high, right?
yeah.
You know, so as we become adults, we kind of delineate that down with all kind of pressures and experiences of life. But that gentleman decided he was going to take the creative piece and impact and increase his belief in himself and what he was providing to the people,
Hmm.
right? And some people are visionaries in that aspect, and others develop the vision along the way, and that's why you need people. It's not you're never a silo by yourself, right? It's you may have an
No.
idea and you share that, and you continue to build, and you bring people in. Values change and themes change, and mission kind of adjusts, and it gets tighter and gets more piercing. You know what I mean, and more successful as you go on. But you know, there's just a couple of questions that you just ask yourself. I want to give the people some questions to ask themselves, right? Um, you know, who are your perfect clients, right? What are the problems that you're trying to solve? What are the needs of that market? And that goes back to what you mentioned, doing your due diligence, doing your research, and finding out how what you want to bring to market applies to the clients and the people that you're going to serve and service, right?
Hmm.
Then why is it important to solve that problem? So what is it and why is it important? Right?
Yeah.
Why?
And wait,
So
and
it's
I was
the
just,
what, the why, and then we go to how do you solve it?
oh yeah. Well, that's the, you know,
Go ahead.
cut it. No, I say no, no. I was just gonna add on your
Yeah.
why.
Well,
Also,
I
why,
mean,
why the
mhm.
client? Why is that your client? You know, your quote ideal client or ideal person. Why is it? In terms of, you know what I'm saying, along the
Right,
why the
right,
problems are,
correct,
why are they the
correct.
person? What values are what? And you know, we
Actually, you
start
can
with a
apply
story
what and why across everything.
for everything, yeah. And so, but I think you want to build those
Hmm.
answers to those questions off of your values. So that's it, you know,
Hmm.
like you want to provide this, you know, so I mean, because nowadays, especially with the more social entrepreneurship view, is people want to say,
Hmm.
okay, um, and younger folks now, I mean, at this age, you know, they're like, oh, I want to have purpose in what I do, and you know, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. Not the yada yada yada, like it's not real, but it's like, okay, you haven't gone through the grinder yet, and you already talk about purpose. So there's something about going through the grinder that makes you appreciate when you can work for purpose. That's just my 2 cents on it. But
Hmm.
there are more
Hmm.
enterprises that at least are putting forth their mission, a la, and their values first ahead of profits. So it's saying that, well, we're not just a profit shop. And most small businesses are not because you don't have resources like that to just, you know, I mean, you want to make a change and you just, oh, yeah, we'll just drop, you know, 10, 20 million on something. No, you like, man, I got to make some moves. I got to shake some hands, kiss some babies, get some favors because I want to go, I want to start this business and go into other stuff. So I think value is, man, yeah, see, once again, cortastic. You just messed up the whole agenda, man. Messed it up in a good way, but you messed up the
I
whole
do
agenda.
that, man. I apologize, man. You know,
No,
I mean, you
no
know,
need
I
for
just do
apology,
that.
man.
You know,
No, man, there's no need for apology, but
I
it's
just
good.
do that, man. I just I just I'm just trying to get to the authentic, down to those, for those that are listening and those that will be listening. They're looking for some jewels to tap into where their questions are, where their fears are, where their uncertainties are, right? So, the purpose of our discussions is to turn uncertainty into certainty. And that doesn't happen, especially with you and I, by verbatim of bullet points that we wrote down. it
Oh
doesn't
no.
happen that way.
You see, I took it down. I was like, look, this is the agenda. All right, let's throw that away because this thing could go. It's not gonna go left, but it's gonna be something different. And
No, no, no.
plus we
But
able
it's
to
all
roll on.
relative to value, because if you didn't, yeah, if you didn't go through your challenges and changes, right? I didn't go through my challenges and changes. We wouldn't be able to sit here and have value discussions, right? On camera, off camera. So
Yeah.
it's our experiences, is what we want, right? It's the choices. Decisions make men.
Mm, mm.
But you have to empower yourself to make those decisions, right?
All righty then.
Um,
Yeah,
and
don't.
empowering yourself to make those decisions, that'll create the value. And it should be authentic. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't be color washed off, right? You
Yeah.
spray paint your car, sun hit it a couple of times, some rain, and then it fades, right? You're using spray paint and not the
Mhm.
real paint
The
methods,
real.
right?
Yeah.
And the
That's
proper paint.
Yeah, I got it, yo,
Um,
man. I know your dialect. I understand where you're coming from, but yeah, yeah, no, it's, so well, I like to get start putting a bow on it. It's about, hey, I mean, total agreement with you. I think what we're showing here and what this particular episode was saying is that you know you're seeing it like the values. I don't know if they jump off the screen or whatever, but the stuff we're discussing we believe, and it affects the business that we do. We honestly believe it. I mean, like, just like I said, I just keep going back to, I honestly believe that people should be looking at their books, probably not as much as I look at mine, because a little obsessive compulsive about it, but I just believe that. And I believe that people can grow their businesses to have a direct impact in the community through hiring, even mentorship. I was talking to my partner today. I said, yo, you was feeling kind of down about some stuff. And I said, man, look, we have to, you have to understand when you're doing a business, there's days it's gonna be terrible. You're just gonna be like, what? Why am I doing this? I don't, it's just I can't stand it, whatever. But remember, somebody's watching you. And if you have those other things about what you believe out there, I told him, I said, man, look, there might be some kid that's gonna remember in 10 years when they go to college that they used to come to your restaurant and they saw you owning it because you look like him or her. And then they're like, yeah, because I saw it happen when I had my record store. I had kids in high school writing turning school assignments about the store. I didn't even know them. I didn't even know they went there. So these are the things that small businesses can do. And for us, accounting and business process, sales, marketing, and all that is that's the bedrock of small businesses. And those are the things that you have to pay attention to in order to grow it. But you can make social impact with a small business, two-person small business. Most people, you used to have it when people had small businesses in the neighborhoods and stuff. All neighborhoods, rural, city. It used to be that. I mean, we corporate now. Everything's corporate in terms of retail. Most things are corporate now. But I know it influenced me because I saw a business. It wasn't like, oh, someone got a store. Like, yeah, I see a person having a store. It's not. I'm not. It's not like, ooh, you see it. Used to be like that, but it isn't. Anyhow, that's what it is, man. I gotta say some of it for
but
the
it's not.
speakers.
But it's not. But it's not. Let me add something on real quick for you,
Oh, no
um,
doubt.
because you just made a valid point. Um, but it's don't look for motivation to be the driver of your business and success.
No, no.
Motivation comes and goes. It's just something you gotta have the discipline in place, and if you're feeling without motivation, just tap into your why, tap into your vision, tap into your mission, right? But it all boils down to discipline, which is something that is always continuous. It's about a continuous improvement. I always tell people, just remain a student of life, meaning you're constantly open to understanding information, right? You can get all the information you want, but how do you understand it? How do you interpret it, right? How do you believe in it? How does that relate to your value? Because no matter what, it will show itself in your business. To show
Mm-hmm.
yourself amongst the employees, amongst your relationships, amongst your
Important.
clients and
You
your
know that.
services, right? Everything,
Mm-hmm.
personal life, everything. So, you know, look more towards the discipline aspect. The motivation will come here or there, but when you don't have motivation, discipline is going to keep you going, keep you going.
All right. Well, with that being said, we are mark. I put a little extra because of my technical difficulties and because it's a holiday weekend. So I gave you a little extra coverage. But
Hmm.
as I said, the purpose of these live streams is for discussion, to spark discussion. And if you want to be part of the discussion, let's see if I can make it. This is a work in progress. This is a small business too. I put up here the information how to reach out to us. I'm going to leave it up there when we sign out. But definitely, if you have any questions that we any questions or follow up, email us live at haywoodcpa.com. That's live at haywoodcpa.com. You can visit our Facebook page, which we're broadcasting to right now. What's up, Facebook? Was good. Facebook.com/HaywoodCPA. You can find us on Twitter at Haywood CPA and also our YouTube page, Haywood CPA PLLC on YouTube, which we're on YouTube right now. So everybody that's checking us out on YouTube, what's good? We appreciate it. But yeah, reach out. Put this, as I said, this Hayward CPA Live is sponsored by Hayward CPA PLLC, a full service CPA firm in Durham, North Carolina. Yada yada yada. Now go to haywardcpa.com and you can find that out. Find out what's going on. We are a podcast as well, audio podcast. We released two of the episodes thus far on any podcast network. So if you're listening to us in your car, outstanding. Thank you. We love having you. And with that, I bid you adieu. And also plug for my other thing. I guess you wonder when I'm an accountant because we also host the Financial Flip Side podcast where we talk about more. We really get into some of that Corey stuff there. Like so it really get there. I'm gonna bring you on that one too. It's gonna be bananas. So thank you. Enjoy your Saturday morning. Enjoy your holiday and enjoy your business. You might as well because you spend most of your time there anyway.
Absolutely,
All right. So I
absolutely,
definitely
absolutely.
I'll let y'all later. Take care.